2021. The time is 6:03 p.m. Madam Clerk.
Mayor Ronnie Felder, Chairperson Shirley Lanier,
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Kashamba Miller Henderson,
Present.
Councilperson Trudwick McCoy,
Here.
Councilperson Douglas Lawson, Councilperson Julia Botel,
Here.
Tawana Smith, Deputy City Clerk, is present for Ms. Claudine Anthony. Don Wynn, City Attorney.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We will have a moment of silence followed by the McCoy. Constitution for this evening.
Into the record.
Thank you. Item number 1 under consent will be moved to item 9A. Item number 6 will be
Slow
deleted.
down.
Okay.
Item number 1 would do what?
Item number 1, we're going to remove that from the consent and make that 9A. It will fall under number 9.
Go ahead.
We will delete item number 6, which is awards and presentation by the police department.
Repeat that.
We're deleting item number 6 under awards and presentations. That's by the police department.
You're striking that one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we're also deleting item number 9.
McBride, did you still want to put the item under presentation? Manager was recommending that we put it under consent.
Madam Chair, if it is the pleasure of the board, we'd like to move the appointments of the Library Advisory Board under consent.
Is that the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
actually, that's what I was going to suggest, but we have also items number 7 and number 8, which is routine street closures for special events, and I was going to ask if we could move that under consent, because it was just, I believe, we're in November, it was just back in September that we had a triathlon that was on consent for a temporary road closure. Unless there's something specific that members want, I don't know why it wouldn't be a consent item.
I'm fine with that as well.
And Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
I guess for the purposes of it, I just want to point out that number 7 speaks to us closing MLK in the parade, which I believe, it may warrant just maybe a conversation from the manager during his comments at the end.
Yes, we can do that. That's not a problem.
Okay, very good. So we'll have number 7 and number 8 and the library board appointments under the, it's under discussion and deliberation. Actually, it's under board appointments, number 13. So 13, Madam Clerk, will move that to the consent agenda.
Yes, ma'am. As well as 7 and 8.
And 8.
You want me to repeat all the changes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're going to move item 1 from consent and make that 9A. Item number 6 will be deleted. Item number 9 will be deleted. Items 7 and 8 will be added to the consent, as well as 13.
Thank you.
And also, Madam Chair, let the record reflect that Mayor Ronnie Felder is present.
Noted. And? Yes. And also, Councilman.
Record reflect Councilman Lawson is present as well.
Thank you. With the items listed on the agenda this evening, are there any disclosures by the council?
Motion. Madam Chair, so it's not a disclosure?
Oh, I'm accusing myself, so
Oh, okay.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Councilperson,
Madam, I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Question for Ms. Nguyen. So obviously we have an item that inures to the personal benefit of a member. There should be a disclosure. If not, then I guess the alternative was she would have to excuse herself from the room altogether,
I am going to do that.
not abstain.
No, I'm removing myself from the.
Say it on the mic.
Well,
No, I will be
Madam-
removing myself from the,
What, she
Dais.
got to do the disclosure. She didn't do that part yet, right?
Yes, she did. And
Oh, you didn't say anything?
so not only am I obviously not going to vote on this issue, I'm going to remove myself from the room.
So that is your disclosure?
Yeah.
Very good.
not your disclosure, you just need to exit the room, because a disclosure under the statute requires that you state on the record what your nature of disclosure or what your interest is. So you don't have a disclosure. I think you just need to excuse yourself from the room.
However it has to be done, that's what it has to be done.
I mean, you know, you've been to the Ethics Commission more than I have, so, I mean, if that's what you
Very
like.
good. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk?
yes. Councilwoman Botel,
Yes.
Councilperson Douglas Lawson,
Yes.
Councilperson Troderick McCoy,
Yes.
Chairperson Kashamba Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Chairperson Shirley Lanier.
Yes.
Thank you. That vote passes.
We are at the consent agenda for the evening. All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine, and action will be taken by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a councilperson so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Does anyone like to pull an item from the from the consent agenda? Madam Clerk?
Motion.
I'm sorry, motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Madam Chair, we don't have any public comments on consent, and the acceptance of public comments for consent is now closed. Councilwoman Julia Botel?
Yes.
Councilperson Douglas Lawson?
Yes.
Councilperson Troderick McCoy?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Kashamba Miller Anderson?
Yes.
Chairperson Shirley Lanier.
Yes.
That vote passes.
We are at the regular part of our agenda. What is the next item?
First one.
The next item would be 9A.
Okay,
Madam Chair?
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You want me to
You
read
have
it
to read it
first?
first. Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Resolution number 13621, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, authorizing the reimbursement of attorney's fees in the amount of $2,337.50 to Julia A. Botel for reasonable legal expenses incurred in the successful defense of ethics complaint number 21-130 before the State of Florida Commission on Ethics and providing for an effective date.
So move.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Evans?
Madam Chair, this presentation will be provided by the City Attorney's Office.
Ms. Nguyen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As the clerk read in the title, this is an action to, or a resolution for Dr. Botel to recover the attorney's fees paid in defending an ethics complaint filed against her. It was found by the Commission on Ethics that there was no probable cause to believe that she violated the statute, in that she did not use her official position in this matter. In order to determine whether or not Dr. Botel is to be reimbursed for these expenses, you all have to find as the governing body that this was done while serving a public purpose, and that the charges arose in the performance of her official duties. This, just by way of background, this was arose out of the beach polo event that was held back in, I believe, February of 2019. This I view it as a public purpose in that the beach polo event was developed, if you will, to promote tourism in the city. And, you know, the promotion of tourism is a public purpose. I would urge you to make the findings that this arose out of the performance of her official duties while serving a public purpose.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
so I offer an amendment to make the finding that this arose out of public purpose.
While in the performance of her official duties, correct?
While in performance of her official duties.
The seconder agrees?
Yes,
Okay.
Well, I think somebody needs to offer a second.
agrees. Second.
Thank you. That's okay. Go ahead and call the question for the amendment.
Madam Chair, I do have 2 public comment cards on this item,
Okay, very
and the acceptance of public comments for this item is closed. Ms. Bessie Brown and Ms. J.B. Dixon.
Good evening. You're on item number 1 for the 2337. I don't know what you all are going to be doing on this tonight, but basically, there is nothing attached. No kind of case files or anything on this. So how can, how can we know what's going on? Because the only thing on the paperwork is from the city. And I to actually see it. If you put it on the agenda, you should put all the information on the agenda for the public to see. And I'm not in agreement with paying her anything.
Thank you, Ms. J.B. Dixon.
J.B. Dixon. I can certainly tell you about that complaint and the fact that the person filing it has filed 5 times with 4 different agencies asking for investigations. Each of those investigations, of course, Dr. Bell had to be represented by counsel. In each of those investigations, every single one of them, it was found that the complaints were groundless. So it has been to have the investigations in such a waste of her money, had to defend herself over and over and over again. I think that there probably must be some way to let all investigative agencies know that the identity of the complainant and the nature investigated thoroughly by everyone from the state attorney, the Ethics Commission, to the Palm Beach County Ethics Commission, 4 different agencies, 5 different complaints, all saying the same thing. Also, if you look at the background of the person making the complaint, that person never made any money. She made $22,000, which was passed over to her by the people who worked for free to put on polo because they didn't want the city of Riviera Beach to be embarrassed. Also, that person in the past, with her unsuccessful events, also blamed somebody else each time for having robbed her, stolen from her, cheated her. So this is clearly just a repeat of that, and I welcome anybody who has any questions on that to speak to me privately. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I was intimately involved in that particular event. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes your public comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor for an amendment. Madam Clerk, could you call the question for that?
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead, sir.
are we going to have any question, dialogue, discussion?
About the amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
In reference to the acceptance of the amendment? Are we voting on the amendment now, or what are we doing?
We're voting on the amendment to the motion. But that has to be approved before we can approve the motion itself.
Okay, go ahead, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes. Councilperson Lawson,
Yes.
Councilperson McCoy,
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson,
Wait a minute, we're voting to approve it?
To amend it.
No,
We just
the,
make the motion, right?
there was a motion, there was a second, there was an amendment to the motion, and the seconder agreed, and so you're voting on the amendment, and that will be the end of it, however
No.
that vote goes.
Right. So
Oh, I thought that once we make an amendment, we have to go back and approve the motion. Okay, well, very good. Let's have discussion about it then. Go ahead, Mr. Lawson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attorney Nguyen, the findings for this case was that there was no ethics violations on behalf of Ms. Botel, correct?
Correct?
And the reason that these fees are in front of us, because typically we wouldn't see these requests come before us. Why are these in front of us?
This is standard, it just has not happened here. When elected officials are accused of ethics violations and it goes to the Ethics Commission, they have the responsibility of either representing themselves or hiring an attorney. If the Ethics Commission finds that there is no probable cause to find an ethics violation, then it has to come before the governing body according to the law, and the governing body has to decide whether or not the elected official was acting in their official capacity and for a public purpose.
Okay. So, based on your recommendation, you're saying that she was acting in her official capacity for this incident, correct?
Correct?
And this was done in February. When was the actual complaint based on? February's actions or February's polo event?
I don't know if they put the date in the order. The date is not in the order.
Okay. And your recommendation is to go forward with the settlement of this $337.50.
Yes.
Thank you, Attorney Nguyen.
Thank you. Any other questions in regard to this item? Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Lawson,
Yes.
Councilperson McCoy,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miller Anderson,
yes.
Chairperson Lanier.
Yes.
That vote passes.
Next item.
You want to go get Ms. Botel?
Oh, she couldn't hear, she couldn't hear me say next item, huh?
She said she's not coming back.
Should have just left.
So
And then I think, Madam Chair, so I think for record purposes, the clerk has to announce that she was out, correct?
We should, for the record, Madam Clerk.
Oh,
It's fine.
okay.
You can announce it, though, if you will.
Please let the record reflect that Councilperson Botel was out for item number 9A.
Hey, we're not done. Go back out.
Thank you.
thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk.
The next item is number 10. Resolution number 134-21, a resolution of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, relating to the city's $29,650,000 Public Improvement Revenue Bond Series 2021, amending the description of the Series 2021 project as set forth in Resolution number 86-21, adopted by the City Council of the City on July 21st, 2021, authorizing the proper officers of the city to do all other things deemed necessary or advisable in connection with said amendment and providing for an effective date.
Can I get a motion?
Move to approve Resolution 134-1.
Second.
Mr. Evans?
Madam Chair and members of the board, I'd like to have the Finance Director, Mr. Randy Sherman, make this presentation.
Good evening, Randy Sherman, Director of Finance. Yeah, if you recall back when we had the discussion on Station 86, we talked about the fact that the bond proceeds could be moved to another like project. With the decision to, evaluate the location of 86, what this resolution does is it takes the proceeds for 86 and moves it to Station 87. And that'll assist us in staying within the time restraints that we have to spend the funds. And I can take any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions regarding this item?
It said Ms. McBride. That's not you, right? Oh,
No, he's not.
okay, all right, that's all I have.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding this item?
Thank
Madam Clerk?
Madam Chair, we do have one public comment card on this item, and the acceptance of public comments is now closed. Ms. Bessie Brown.
Okay, gotcha.
Ms. Bessie Brown?
Who's the
You want
public
to go
comment
to
from?
number 11?
I'm sorry?
Bessie Brown. She's right over there. She's there.
Good evening. I was questioning 86 and 87 when it was on the agenda before. Basically, you have here, you're indicating that this is a recommendation for Fire Station 87, but it's not actually in the resolution. And where is this 87 be located on West Blue Heron Boulevard between Broadway and Barack Obama Highway? Is that 87?
City Hall.
And is that over there near where Wells is? Because I'd really like to know, and I'd like a response on that.
That's the end of public comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Sherman, would you like to address that?
Yeah, the resolution does not name the station. It just talks about the location that a fire station will be built between Broadway and Barack Obama. So, but it's Station 87, as we know it.
Thank you. Any other questions in regards to this item? Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Councilperson Lawson,
Yes.
Councilperson McCoy,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Chairperson Lanier.
Yes.
That vote passes, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Next item?
The next item is number 11, under discussion and deliberation. You have ordinance number 4132, amending the city's comprehensive plan based on evaluation and appraisal review.
Mr. Evans?
Madam Chair, members of the board, if I can have Director of Development Services, Mr. Clarence Sermons, make this presentation.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk, when you read the item, right at the end of the item, say it is closed for public comment at that time.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Sermons didn't think that we would get here that quick.
Madam Chair, if it's
Yes.
the pleasure of the board, we can move on to the next item and come back to that one.
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
Surprise.
We can still. Yep.
I beg your pardon, Madam Chair. For the record, I am Clarence Sermons, Director of Development Services. For this item before you tonight, it is a discussion deliberation item to bring attention back to the Comprehensive Plan Amendment item, Ordinance 4132, which was before you at the October 20th City Council meeting. The purpose of this ordinance is to amend the city's comprehensive plan to satisfy the city's requirement to address our comp plan and update any portions of it that have fallen out of compliance with state statutes. That process was begun in 2017 when we notified the state that we intended to evaluate the comprehensive plan and make any necessary adjustments. The first reading of that item was heard in August of 2018. Since then, we have been engaging the state to ensure that all of the comments that they gave us after the first reading of the item were addressed sufficiently. We satisfied all of the state's comments in August of this year. And at the October 20th meeting, the item failed. There was a council member that was not present at the time of the vote, and the staff is requesting that the council passes a motion to rescind the previous action on this item to allow for a new vote that would allow this amendment to be approved and us to submit or transmit the final draft of this comprehensive plan amendment to the state and satisfy that requirement from back in 2017 to create our EAR review of it. If the previous action is rescinded and council takes a new vote tonight and it is approved, we will transmit that to the state. It will allow us to close out that previous item, and then we will be able to move forward with the current needed update of the comprehensive plan, which is our visioning to update the plan for the next 15 years. Staff would get in the process of engaging third-party consultants to update our comprehensive plan for the vision for the next 15 years, which would take us to 2040, or the Riviera 2040 plan. We have spoken with administration and legal about the need to ensure that this item is approved, and we would request that action from the council tonight.
So you need a motion to rescind the October 20th vote?
Yes.
I move to rescind the October 20th vote.
Second?
Questions?
Go ahead.
So we're going to rescind this vote, and then you're going to bring it back to us again?
Tonight.
Correct.
Not tonight.
Not this evening.
Okay, so let's talk about practice and procedure, because, you know, I think what's important to let everybody know is that staff makes mistakes, right? And I can live with a mistake, but I won't live with a conspiracy. Members, I didn't support this item, and here's why. You know, I just find it so interesting that we're charged with reviewing ordinances, and then when I go back to the ordinance that was referenced, it doesn't even have the same ordinance number. And you would think, as a professional courtesy of lawmakers, that if someone had made an error some time ago and duplicated the ordinance number, when it's presented to us, I think that should have been stated. So when I'm looking back in my review and research and preparation for a meeting, the ordinance that's presented to us is not the same ordinance number that was adopted back in 2018. And it wasn't until after this item failed that I got this from staff. So I just hate that we get items that are half-baked and individuals expect that we should just vote on it as a rubber stamp. And this should be, I guess, a lesson for everybody. Like, when you bring forth items, don't expect that city council members are not supposed to read it. If it doesn't pass the litmus test, we shouldn't support it. We're part-time legislators with full-time staff members. I don't know how. If it takes extra time, get it done. But don't make me look like I have egg on my face when I get in the meeting and you said it was passed on November 1st, 2018. When I go back and look at an ordinance from November 1st, 2018, the numbers don't even match up. It's not even the same. So that's why I didn't support this item. I understand the need for a comprehensive plan, but I would expect and appreciate that we're provided with all of the information that we need to make an informed decision. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to respond to that, Ms. Busby?
Please.
Well, I think that Mr. Sermons explained this during the second reading, but he can reiterate the explanation.
So, if I may, Madam Chair. Councilman McCoy, you are correct. There is a difference between the ordinance number from first reading and what is before you now. As was provided to you prior to this meeting, in 2018, when the ordinance was approved, the clerk at the time notified staff that there was erroneously assigned an ordinance number to that item, and that the new ordinance number has been updated, and that's what went into the record. So as was provided to you before this meeting, it was an error from previous staff that was cleared up, and there was nothing clandestine going on related to this item.
However, we do appreciate your great attention to detail and pointing it out so that we can make sure that those errors would not be before you again.
Follow up, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I think someone's being disingenuous. There was no explanation on second reading that there was a problem with the ordinance change. That didn't come up until I went back after the fact and found out, but there was nothing in the backup that represented. It only said that it passed in 2018, but there was no reference that there was a clerical error until I brought the question back by email. So that's not correct.
I apologize, Councilman McCoy. I'm not trying to be disingenuous. I might have just blurred the meeting that we had with you between the late night meeting. I apologize.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Any other questions in regards to this motion?
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Sermons, if you could give us an overview of the comprehensive plan updates that we plan on for the next 5 years. Do we have a timeline or a schedule, and what's your intent? Because this is just a portion and just a piece of an update, and what is the plan for the city holistically?
Yes, for that question, the septennial review is what was completed in 2017, and that's required that every 7 years we take a look and just make sure that nothing has fallen out of consistency with recently passed state statutes. However, every 10 years or more, it is responsible for a municipality to reevaluate its comprehensive plan from top to bottom to ensure that it is consistent with current visions and initiatives of the city. And that's what staff intends to embark on as soon as we wrap up this current EAR application with the state. We have, as you know, in the budget, we have approved funding for this year and next, at least anticipated for next, to engage consultants to review our comprehensive plan from beginning to end. It is a very large endeavor to evaluate and update a comprehensive plan, but we do know that with all the changes going on in our city currently, that we need to ensure that that document is consistent with Reimagine Riviera and what we envision our city to be for the next 15 to 20 years. So staff is in the preliminary stages of creating a solicitation for Riviera 2040 to engage consultants to start the public engagement process and the large task of evaluating all of the elements of the plan and getting those updated and getting a comprehensive plan amendment before you that reflects the city's growth patterns and vision for the next 15 to 20 years. So we expect that process at the beginning of next year. We expect to have a consultant in place, and that the process will take probably about 18 to 24 months to have the complete plan updated.
Okay, if you can work on for me an outline and just send it out to the colleagues of what the next 18 to 24 months looks like in regards to the solicitation, in regards to the community charrettes, because this is something that I've been asking for, and this is why I did not support this item, because I've been asking for updates to this comprehensive plan, and it seems like we continue to piecemeal it versus addressing it holistically. So if we can have a set schedule to address what it's going to look like for the next 2 years, that we can make sure that we hold our staff accountable to get the things done that's necessary to update the comprehensive plan, because far too many suits and allegations and issues have come across this board based upon issues within our comprehensive plan. If we address it from the front, we won't have to answer to these concerns that we haven't addressed at the beginning. So if you could please just make sure you get that out to us as soon as possible, that will give us an opportunity to see what the comprehensive plan will look like for the next 2 years. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
I do believe back in 2017, correct me if I'm wrong on the year, we started that, Mr. Evans, weren't we doing the, I think we started a district meeting, community meeting for the comprehensive plan. We were about to move forward with that at that time, and I believe after Mr. Evans left, it just kind of sat, and nothing happened for several years. And of course, Mr. Evans came back. We had a lot of stuff going on. So not trying to make any excuses. Obviously, we need to move forward, but I wanted to somewhat explain where this delay came from, because we were in the process of moving forward with it and doing community meetings.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, back in 2018, the board did appropriate about $175,000 to move forward with a review of the comprehensive plan. And that did not occur for some time, and so then there was additional monies that were appropriated in this fiscal year's budget, and looking to put monies in next fiscal year's budget to look to accomplish that. But most of the challenges that we have are not necessarily in the comprehensive plan. It is more so the land development regulations that we can look to modify by virtue of an ordinance, because the comprehensive plan is a very broad, overarching document that has, you know, some specificity, but some of the challenges with regards to development patterns and what are the things that developers are held to the standard is really the land development regulation. So we'll provide an update to the board as it relates to the pathway forward to look at the comprehensive plan, but also I would like to have staff provide a presentation as it relates to what's in the comp plan and what's in the land development regulations, because there's a lot of things in there that we can look to tweak and modify that will look to make development and development opportunities both for our residents as well as the development community that much easier.
I just wanted to kind of put that on record. And of course, you all know that we went through different department heads and changes in that department as well. So, but I'm glad we're in the process of being able to move forward. But there was certainly a very idle time where it was not being addressed at all.
Yes, and I'd also like to add that since Mr. Sermons has come to the city as a department director, that department has exceeded expectations in terms of their commitment to the community, to what they have done with that department, how he has geared his staff to ensure things like this don't happen. And of course, as Ms. McCoy said, mistakes do happen, but I can rest assured that Mr. Sermons and his department can move us forward with these comp plans and land use regulations. Any other questions in regards to this item? Madam Clerk?
Before we do that, Madam Chair, we have just one public comment card, Ms. Bessie Brown.
So, Madam Chair, so before she comes, let me get some clarification. So you offered a motion to rescind, that would just put it back on the table, correct, Ms. Nguyen? Or Ms. Busby, didn't we have to take another action to adopt the ordinance?
This is for this item.
Chair?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so the motion we're taking right now is just to rescind, and then we're gonna take another.
You will take the other one at a properly noticed meeting, so we intend for that to be December 1st.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought I seen a legal ad that says that we're gonna consider, in the backup, there's an ad from the Palm Beach Post that says we're taking up this ordinance tonight on November 17th.
I think in a sense that we are taking it up.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. We're talking about the item.
No, so,
Hold on a second, sir. Let's get some clarification. Mr. Evans?
Madam Chair, I'd have to defer to staff on this. I'm trying to load that information on my computer right now.
so can I finish asking the question? Oh,
Go ahead.
so specifically in the backup, and I think we brought this up in agenda review, there's this Palm Beach Post ad that said we'll be amending the comprehensive plan. And as you know, second and final adoption of land use ordinance requires a 10 days notice. This went out on November 6th. It was in the November 6th edition of the Palm Beach Post. So that means we were expected to take action on this item tonight. Is that not what I see in the backup?
And-
It has the proof of publication?
Madam Chair, if I'm-
Go ahead.
Yes, the staff did advertise this item for tonight's meeting. We were hoping to position council to be able to take a vote on this item tonight. I was advised by legal shortly before this item, which caused my delay, that we would need to wait to the December 1st meeting for you all to be able to take an action on it. So we will need to re-advertise it.
Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
Okay, I was trying to find out what exactly is the reason for this amending? Because, you know, nothing says in here what's being amended. And just a comprehensive plan, no items or anything else. And then it says on October 20, 2021, ordinance for approval of comprehensive plan amendment fails. And then it said they asked for 60 days, 60-day extension to finalize it. And then you're talking tonight like you're going to finalize it in December 1st. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on, but you're proposing to update and amend the comprehensive plan. But we don't, you know, it's not saying anything about what is actually being proposed to amend. And I heard you say 4132, so ordinance 4132 is not the right number for the amendment?
Thank you, ma'am.
That's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have a notice to rescind. Second, there are not any other issues. Call the question, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Councilperson Lawson?
Yes.
Councilperson McCoy?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miller Anderson?
Yes.
Chairperson Lanier?
Yes,
That vote passes, Madam Chair.
thank you.
We're on to item number 12, discussion and deliberation of Kwame O'Neal's settlement update. We do have public comment cards on this item, and the acceptance of public comment cards are now closed.
Mr. Evans?
Madam Chair, this matter will be handled by the legal department.
Ms. Nguyen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is just a very brief update on this matter. You may recall that it came to you for approval some time ago. We do not yet have a signed settlement agreement from Mr. O'Neal. His attorney has had difficulty getting in touch with him, but he has assured us that he's working on getting it executed by Mr. O'Neal, and I just wanted to provide you with an update.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, the first person is going to be Mr. Peter O'Neal, Ms. Bessie Brown, and Amon Israel.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kwame's father. I'm not trying to stand up here and give you all no explanation because I don't know how many of you have kids.
Speaking to the
You can
mic.
see my daughter stands on the side of me.
Come closer to the mic, sir, so we can hear you very well.
Excuse me, I'm just a little nervous.
That's okay. Take your time, sir.
That's my baby boy. I'm not gonna stand up here and try to tell you what he did was wrong, but he's still a human being. He's my son that I raised, that I worked and slaved to make sure he had things that he was supposed to have. And none of us perfect. And I just want to say, you all just do the right thing, because I don't have no say over you all. So I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just want you all to just, if you all ever looked at the video, no one should have to go through that. My son can't even use his right hand. So, for a father to just stand up here on his birthday, I can find something else better to do with my time, but this is important to him, not me. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Bessie Brown? And Mr. Amani, is it?
Good evening. I'm very, very disappointed with with the backup on these agenda items because there's not enough information on here for me to read or understand what's going on. There's no discussion, it's deliberation, settlement, update. There's nothing on here about what it is or whatever. This is deceiving the public when you don't give them enough information to sit and go over stuff like that what you're doing, and then I can ask a decent question about it. I am truly upset about how one conduct. You have no cases. You're settling cases, and no cases are attached, and all this stuff. And then the comprehensive plan. I don't know what you did on that one. And but basically, this is ridiculous to get an agenda with no backup concerning what you're doing, and then can't ask a decent question about it. I think you need to do better.
Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Aman Israel?
Good evening, Mayor, Chair, City Council, Jonathan, and City Attorney. My name is Aman Yisrael. I had the opportunity to watch the video of the dog bite. It was one of the most horrifying and inhumane things that could have happened to anybody. He's probably going to bear that for the rest of his life. I didn't know that he couldn't use his arm. But to watch a dog bite, a dog put on somebody who was absolutely surrendering, and there's probably was about 4 additional police officers on site. The officer had the opportunity to call the dog down, and they could have went and arrested that young man without turning a dog loose on him for probably a couple of minutes. After reading some of the reports, the officer stated that it was a mistake. Well, I find that hard to believe, because while the dog was biting him, he was telling the dog, "Good boy, good boy." And again, I like to say there was multiple officers on site. Some of them were upper level. The guy had no place to run. And after he surrendered, the dog was let loose on him. Kind of remind me of some of the things that took place during the King era. I hope that we can not want to go back into that era. But I just think that we just need to take better care of the young man than we did. And thank you for the opportunity. If you have not seen the video, you might want to look at it. And when you hear the officer saying, "Good boy," while the dog is mauling him, the gentleman absolutely passed out from shock, and the dog was still biting him. Now, when you look at the video, look to your right of the video. There was another officer standing right there. Nobody moved to stop the dog when the guy was up on the ledge saying he surrendered. It could have been handled in a different way. I don't know what our policy says Hopefully, we can create a better policy. But even if the policy was there, look at what the officer did. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I wanted to say, I was the one who brought this item back to be discussed. Ms. Brown is correct. There should have been at least the information from the settlement attached to this backup. But I think that I speak for my colleagues sitting here. I want to say to the family, we are sincerely sorry for what happened to your son. Sincerely, we are sorry what happened to your son. From the city of Riviera Beach. And we will try and do better. Thank you so much. Do we have a next item?
The next item would have been 13, but we moved that to consent. So now do you want to take public comment?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. So wait, I'm sorry. What was the intent? This says discussion and deliberation. Was there any?
Do you want to discuss something?
Well, if it was on the agenda, I was trying to find out what was the intent of placing it on the agenda. Was it just to extend, I guess, apologies, or is there some action that's being asked?
There is no action being asked. I brought it back to extend apologies to the family and also to give him and the public an opportunity to speak on the issue.
Okay. Well, I think it's improper simply because the title says update on the settlement. So I was thinking that we were going to get some new developments, but if that was the intent, you have the prerogative to do that. I just was expecting that we were going to attempt to take some sort of action, or there was going to be some official action by this body, but I guess the title kind of confused me, so that's all. I just wanted to make sure that I was not expecting something else to occur.
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Attorney Nguyen, is there any update?
Just the update that I gave regarding the settlement agreement.
Okay.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Item number 13 was moved to consent, so do you want to take public comments now?
Yes, because that's the end of the agenda, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, move to public comment, please.
The acceptance of public comment is now closed. You can read the statement.
All right, let me read my statement. Public comment is now closed. Please be reminded, the City Council has adopted rules of decorum, public conduct during, what's happening? Please be reminded, the City Council has adopted rules of decorum, public conduct during official meetings, which has been posted at the front desk in an effort to preserve order if any of the rules are not adhered to. The council chair may have any disruptive speaker or attendee removed from the podium, from the meeting and/or the building if necessary. Please govern yourselves accordingly. Public comment shall begin at 7:30 p.m. unless there is no further business of the city, which in the event it shall begin sooner. In addition, if an item is being considered at 7:30, then comments from the public shall begin immediately after the item has been concluded. Any person who would like to speak during public comments, please fill out a public comment card located at the front desk and give it to the staff before the public comment section is announced. It has to be closed after I read the statement. Go ahead. So you need to announce it now.
I had already.
Go ahead.
The acceptance of public comments is now closed.
I think what throws us off is the early time that we're doing public
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Ms. Nguyen, so there's even problems with the instructions that she's read, because she just read a statement that says you can go and put in pick up a comment at the front of the building. So I guess technically, once she reads that portion, one would have the belief that you can actually go and actually put in a comment at that point. So if she's going to, I guess we need to modify that statement that it doesn't happen midstream. I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Madam Chair, to Councilperson McCoy's point, we are migrating over to a new agenda software system, and that will start the first of the year, and we are modifying all those different statements and cleaning up some of the language that's in here, so that will be corrected. And we will correct it from this point forward, but we are making those changes.
Thank you.
The first one is Mr. Kent Pollock, Mr. Lloyd Brown, and Ms. Cindy March.
Council membership, Mr. Mayor, City Manager, good evening. My name is Kent Pollock, and I am a representative of the Marsh Harbor Community Development District. And tonight, I actually want to talk about that decorum, just by coincidence. In December of 2006, the city attorney, at the request of the council that was seated, submitted a memorandum regarding the passage of the decorum, the rules of decorum. The city manager made recommendations based on reviews and cases and rules adopted from other communities and municipalities throughout the county. The city adopted that rule of decorum in February 2007. Now, in that rule of decorum, that insert that the council member mentions each time before we start this process, and I want to touch that again because there's a reason why I'm doing this presentation. It says, please be reminded that the city council has adopted these particular rules for public conduct during this official meeting, which have been posted at the front desk in an effort to preserve order. And if any of these rules are not adhered to, the council chair may have any disruptive speaker or attendee removed from the podium. Now, there are 9 items that are connected to that particular rule. And this is a part of the ordinance, and you can get this from the clerk's office. It's available. But I want to talk about 3 that I've pretty much witnessed often. Item number 2, it says it's impertinent remarks prohibited. Any person making personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks, or who becomes boisterous while addressing the board of this city or while attending official meetings shall be removed from the room if so directed by the presiding officer. Now, I've seen that happen before and nobody got removed. That's fine. Number 4 of the 9 says obscene or insulting languages is prohibited. Now, this is the language from the ordinance itself. Any audience member acting or appearing in a lewd or disgraceful manner, or who uses opprobrious, which means rude, lewd, or disrespectful language, or obscene or insulting language at official meetings, or who does not obey the orders of the presiding officer shall be censored by the presiding officer at the presiding officer's discretion. The last one I want to share is item number 9. Actually, item 8 says the penalty. The presiding officer may direct the sergeant-at-arms to remove offenders from the council chamber if these rules are not followed. If the presiding officer shall fail to act, any member on the board may move to require enforcement of the rules. Now, if you have rules of decorum, that means that it's a process for keeping order, because in the statement bullet, it says to preserve order. If we allow people to do whatever they want and say whatever they want, however they want, then we're in violation of this rule of decorum.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Lloyd Brown, and then Ms. Cindy March.
I think he might have been talking about me.
No.
I hope not.
No.
Well, I guess. But anyway, I was just looking at, the council and saying the council is this and the council is bad and all that. But let me tell you, they were giving out $25 worth of gas, and there was a guy riding through the neighborhood, and he was telling everybody, oh, they're giving out $25 worth of gas. So, all these people getting this information, they shot over there. Now, when they heard on the news that, like under the Singers Island Bridge, that there was something going on between, the people who were fishing and the people who were snorkeling, okay. Now, that freedom that we had going under the bridge, because I've been under there all my life, I've been swimming and snorkeling a little bit too, but I've been fishing, and mainly it seemed like either the poorer people in Riviera Beach, black or white, usually fish under that bridge, and that's why they got the little drawbridge going out. Now, for you to come over there and, you looking up and you see a guy with a reel and he's throwing hooks out, and now you want to come snorkel underneath these hooks. That's the damnest thing I ever seen in my life. And then for the news media to talk about the fishermen, but didn't say, well, these people have been fishing over here all their lives. And I mean, there's a lot of tropical fish down there, I understand that. But like, you have to have a permit for most of these benches over there. I mean, the tables, I think, and like with Cunningham Park, I think you have to have a permit to get that whole thing. So if you can't get under Cunningham Park over there on S Avenue, you try to come over here on 4th of July, you can't even walk down the sidewalks with all that stuff. So why don't somebody get over there and tell these people, you know, you can't block the sidewalks, and maybe put stickers like North Palm Beach on cars and say, well, these are residents. Okay, and another thing I want to say, you know, this place down the street from me, they hired these Spanish people who never hired any black people to do any kind of lawn maintenance around this church. But 20 years these people have been working around this church next door to this church. They never hired a black guy. So these two black guys, that businesses that they had, they fired. Okay, so there wasn't but 2 black businesses in Palm Beach County that this church could have hired before they hired these people who was working next door to this church, who never hired a black individual. I mean, Black Lives Matter when it comes to going to heaven, but it don't matter when it comes to a job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Cindy March, Miss Margaret Shepherd.
Good evening. I was late. I wasn't here for Agenda 1. I don't know if you went on something for Agenda 9, but if you look at that total amount, it's almost $15,000 for reimbursement for Botel, for her lawyer fees. Sometimes when you intervene and then you be a conflict of interest, sometimes you need to pay the price for your own bill. The reason why I'm saying that, how can you let a third party come in here and gonna pay them $200,000 to fight a $60,000 settlement? She was a conflict of interest from day one, and I'd be so glad, and I'm quite sure you all will be glad when it's all over, for the settlement of Lady March Goldwhite. We got to stop intervening, especially when we vote you into office. You're supposed to be a leader, and you have really damaged this city, really damaged this city. And until somebody starts suing you in your own capacity, you'll stop the foolishness. Because where the $200,000 gonna come from a third party? Why did you hire Don Wynn? Why did you all hire Stevens? If you're gonna go on the outside and discuss what's going on in the city with a third party that's not even affiliated with the city, don't even live in the city, don't even know the results of the case, period. I mean, all you're gonna do, if you get an appeal, since you're so smart, if you get an appeal, all you're finna do is open up a whole can of worms for everything to be reopened in front of a judge and some more jurors. Then you're gonna end up probably paying a whistleblower's fee and everything else. You have to be careful and you have to be mindful. When you're a leader, be a great leader. We all make mistakes, I get that. And I can forgive a person for making a mistake. But just to keep battering the same young lady for whatever reason it may be, it's not acceptable to me when I fall off that same tree branch. It's not acceptable to me. And I requested some documents, and I'm gonna hold the city clerk responsible for getting me them documents. I want them emails. I want them, and I meant I want them. And we're doing all of this on the Broadway, and we're doing everything on the Sing Island. What we're gonna do to build up the West Side community? We should have jobs flowing on the West Side of the community with restaurants, things for our young kids can go and play. I don't hear anything about the West Side, period. Nothing but some fire station and another high-rise building. We need something in our community, because all of this is the city of Riviera Beach, all of it.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Miss Margaret Shepherd, Mr. Ahmad Israel, and Miss Doretta Polk.
Margaret Shepherd, Riviera Beach. Mr. Evans, I was trying to get Mr. Sherman and before Ms. Busby left. And I know you all in meetings, I understand. I do. But there's something going on with planning and zoning. And I think we need a workshop. I understand that Mrs. Anthony is out, but the first of the year ASAP. And if you don't look at how these meetings are ran, please take a few minutes and see this. We're volunteers. I don't think I'm coming here for a lecture for nobody. If the chair has an ought with any of them up there, I'll call them up and tell them whatever it is, whatever's going on my mind. But to continuously get in the meter and badger my councilwoman, now, if you all had an ought, you had an ought. That's you. I care less. But these meetings are running in a way that it's all about me. And I'm not sitting 3 hours because it's not about me. It's getting ready to move this city forward. Reimagine is coming up. We have a lot on our desk. We need someone, once they come aboard, to try to train them. And I'm just kind of tired of it. I walked out 3 hours on one thing that we did 2 months ago, and we're rehashing it out. I did my duty, and I said to anybody, time for the council to have it. You've read our remarks, and I know you did because I hear you talking about it sometimes. But that's my feel. I'm kind of fooled. And to the young man who just got here, first of all, the First Amendment gives you a right to say whatever you want to say. Who's going to put these people out? The last time they put a certain people out, it cost this city a lot of money. So you're here, and the one thing you do is train yourself to hear and don't hear. I don't care what they say if it don't pretend to me, because when I'm attacked, I'm going to the attack. So you can't muzzle anybody, and I understand, I do, but you just got here. And we have been here years and years, for those of you who've been here, and when Chief Williams was here, let me go to that. The person that you're talking about, they came up here and handcuffed him. He fell down on the ground, and this city became liable. They were in court trying to make sure that this person has his rights met. So whatever they say, I don't care what they say. If it don't pertain to me, it don't pertain to me. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Amon Israel, Ms. Doretta Polk, and Ms. J.B. Dixon.
Good evening again. Mayor, Chair, Council, City Manager, and City Attorney. I also would love for you all to, when you do this report, when you look at the report on the dog bite situation, when you look at the report, there was never a reason given why he turned the dog loose on the guy. I just wanted to say that. I am so proud of you all. You all did an outstanding job last night. It is almost unbelievable. The community is just raving about, was that the same city council? And I said, absolutely. So I just want you to know a lot of people really appreciated how you all conducted the meeting. Everything was smooth. We picked a team, and it didn't take all night. So that's wonderful. I also like to say, because I'm talking about the dog bite situation, I also want to say that we have some of the most outstanding police officers in the state of Florida. We also have some of the most outstanding paramedics, male and female officers too. But there's one paramedic that I just have to tell you all about, and her name is Kirsten Berthon. When I called the paramedics to come get me, I was extremely weak. But she was standing by the front door when I came out, and she said, "Can you make it?" And I said, "I'm not sure." And she said, "Can you lean on me?" I said, "You can hold me." She said, "Lean on me." And believe me, I wear probably about 215, and she was probably holding most of that because I was actually leaning on her. And she helped me to the stretcher, put me in, but the care that she gave me when I was inside was unbelievable. And if you ever felt bad, I probably felt 10 times worse than your baddest feeling. But just how she maneuvered, how she instructed the other paramedics, give him oxygen, put him on IV, take his blood pressure, do all those things, she was incredible. So I'm a strong supporter of our police department and our fire department. I know we're not talking about privatizing them, but I just like to say this about the paramedics. I went to John F. Kennedy Hospital, St. Mary's, Good Sam, and Palm Beach Gardens, and just maneuvered myself in and just asked some questions. And I asked them, who is the most stable when the paramedics come in here? And she said, by far, Riviera Beach. Paramedics, when they bring people to the emergency room, are the most stable. And I can vouch for that because I know how she taught me, how she treated me. Thank you all so much. Let's move the city forward. And oh, please, I kept hearing them say it's going to take 3 years to build it. Let's not take another year before they build it, because then that's 4 years. So let's move this as fast as we can. I love drinking water. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments.
Ms. Doretta Paul, Ms. J.B. Dixon, and then Ms. Bessie Brown.
Thank you very much, City Assistant Clerk. I appreciate it. I appreciate also for you. I want to make a comment concerning Ms. Deirdre Jacobs. She was profoundly knowledgeable about this session that we had last evening, and moving this forward. We are on the move with the help of Mr. Jonathan Evans and all the council persons up there. We are on the move. And I'm very, and also the people of Riviera Beach that I talked to, very proud of Mrs. Deirdre Jacobs, very proud. Another thing, I had a neighbor who had a problem with her alleyways. And I talked to Deirdre Jacobs concerning this, and she got Mrs. Snowy, and also, who else was on this? Mr. Grady, Mr. Williams, Miss Rhonda, Mr. Chris. They did an absolutely phenomenal job on her alleyways. And these are seniors who cannot get out there. And they helped me too, because I didn't realize I had a little alleyway in my yard, and they helped me also. They always have the motto, Mrs. Jacobs had the motto, I'm here to serve you, Mrs. Polk, and all the residents of Riviera Beach. We have good employees here. We really do. And I must also, like I said last night, Mr. Walter Stevens, Mr. Blankenship, and Mr. Nehemiah Spence of the ambassadors, Safe and Clean, and all the ambassadors here. They're very professional people. The police officers that's outside, they're very professional and very courteous and kind. And I just want to say to Mr. Evans, you do have a lot of employees that are very compassionate in the city, along with yourself, Mr. Evans. Now I want to go, my friend here, Ms. Shepherd. Now, you know, we can agree and disagree. But like you say, if it don't concern you, I don't care. But one day it may concern you, Mrs. Shepherd. Maybe you will get some of the wrath that I have gotten from this, from the council people. Two council people, as a matter of fact, but one did apologize. But that puts a stain on you. That is really hurting. So I hope you don't have to feel the way that I had felt.
Thank you so much, Ms.
Because we got to have some order in here. We have to.
Yes, ma'am.
We
Thank you
cannot
so much.
disrespect each other like this.
Thank you very much.
Kindness and compassionate.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. J.B. Dixon, and then lastly will be Ms. Bessie Brown.
J.B. Dixon, Singer Island in Riviera Beach. I also wanted to say that I've heard a lot of comments, including from some people who always criticize the city about everything. And they were all absolutely beside themselves with compliments, not only on the companies presentations, but especially on the presence of the council members and the quality of your questions and comments. So it's always good to pass along the occasional compliment, since you receive so many non-compliments. I would like to agree with the gentleman over here, though, who spoke about the tenor of the remarks that are often made from this podium. I'm not sure it's worth risking lawsuits over it, but it is truly disgusting the way some people speak from here and what they say. It is just beyond the ken. Certainly, Fane Lozman standing up when developers were indicating an interest in putting a very nice project into this city and saying, you shouldn't come to Riviera Beach, they're corrupt. You will be asked, you'll be shaken down for bribes. I mean, that is absolutely beyond the ken. Clearly he hates the city, but that is libelous, or slanderous, I should say. People who get up here and constantly call any of you corrupt. There is a definition of what corruption is. Corruption means you take something of value, money or whatever, for your vote. Now, if somebody knows that that's happening, let them just say who it is who's corrupt and what exactly it is they did. If not, if you don't have that kind of information to give, then keep your mouth shut. You cannot just call someone corrupt because you do not like them or you do not like what they do. Corruption is corruption is corruption. And if you don't have proof of it, you had better keep quiet. I know that you're allowed to say whatever you want to, but you're also allowed many times to be sued when you know something is not true and you continue to say it against an individual. I think that everyone needs to keep a more courteous tone, and if they cannot find the vocabulary other than cursing and swearing, then they ought to write down what they are going to say and have someone edit it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Lastly, Madam Chair, you have Ms. Bessie Brown, and that's it for public comments.
I thought I was here early enough, Council, but I know when you took item 1, but I don't know what happened to item 9. I really would like to know what happened to item 9. And because I had a card in on it, I don't know what happened. I would like to know what happened to item 9 tonight. Also, J.B. Dixon said about corrupt. They ran on a corrupt campaign. They ran on the whole city was corrupt when they ran. So I'd like to know how does she say don't say about corruption if you don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Evans, would you like to address any of the comments
No, Madam Chair.
made? Thank you. Yes, item 9 was taken off the agenda from the very beginning of the meeting. It was deleted. Item 6, item 9 was deleted, and 7, 8, and 13 were put on consent. You're welcome. Discussion by the city manager.
Madam Chair, very briefly, if I can have Director Blankenship share a little bit of the items that were removed and placed on consent, just so the board's aware.
Good evening, Council. Richard Blankenship, Parks and Recreation Director. One of the items that was moved to consent is the road closure for the MLK Parade and the MLK 5K and 10K races. The parade is coming back this year, same location. It'll be different. The parade won't be different, but the viewing area will be different. We're not, obviously, it's not as much space, so we're not doing the fun zone. We will have a much smaller footprint as far as no VIP area, anything like that. It'll just be a viewing area with the parade. We'll have area for DJ and for the announcer, and then an area for a videographer. The Black Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County approached us 6-7 months ago about hosting a celebratory 5K and 10K race, and they will be doing that from Callaway Park. Part of the road closure will be 13th and Avenue P, I believe. And this kind of goes along with our push this year for wellness and health for our residents. So we were very excited to host that. One of the other road closures was for the Santa Dash Fun Run, which will be December 11th over at the Community Garden in Singer Island. They'll run over the bridge and back. And I'll take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, sir. Discussion by city attorney.
No comments, Madam Chair.
City council committee reports. Statements by the mayor.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Blankenship, did you say a 5K? So I would like to challenge all of my colleagues on that day to put on your shorts and let's get into 5K.
I'm sorry.
That's it, Madam Chair.
Councilman Lawson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On, I believe the date is Monday the 22nd, 5 p.m., City of Riviera Beach will be hosting a turkey giveaway. Not your traditional historic turkey giveaway, though. We want you to pre-register for it because we're going to have resources available from the county. Mental health organizations will be out and providing information to the community. So we'll have free turkeys. You can go onto the city's website or Sincere 2000. We are going to be the host organizations that are going to partner with the city to get this done and provide as many turkeys as possible. There was also a comment by a resident, Brother Amon. You said they said 3 years. I believe we actually requested they have this done by November 28th, 2023. So we're looking to get some clean water in 2 years. So we're going to hold them accountable, 2 instead of 3, and we're going to stay on top of it. So colleagues, great job last night and tonight as well. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Councilman McCoy.
I don't have any comments. I'm just a little confused, and I'm putting this in writing to our attorney and manager, but this gentleman spoke of rules that was adopted in 2006, and I just want to make sure that I have the correct ones because that's not what I have here. But again, I'm sending it by email, but I just hope that we all have the same rules of decorum because a lot of what I heard was new to me for the first time. So that's all I have.
Councilwoman Botel.
Do we have a meeting before Thanksgiving?
Sorry?
Do we have a meeting before Thanksgiving?
No, Madam Chair.
We do?
We do not.
So
We do
just
not.
a happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I will be once again over at the Lindsay Davis Center dishing out that turkey, so I hope everybody shows up because I think last year we did 6,000 meals.
Whoa.
Which blew my mind when the end of the day came, but a couple of us were over there, so I look forward to doing that again. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Doc, what date? Can you say what date that is?
Oh, Thanksgiving.
Say it.
November the 25th? I mean, what day is it? Let me.
It's actual on Thanksgiving Day?
Yes, Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
That's the 25th, yeah, 25th.
And
Go ahead,
Lindsay
Council.
Davis.
Thank you. The 25th for Lindsay Davis.
I just wanted to ask a question. I know on last night, our lobbyist, Mr. Maurice, was having a difficult time with coming through. But I know Mr. McCoy, I believe, asked if he can come, or maybe Mr. Lawson asked if he can come during another meeting. You were going to do like a little brief update. But can we see about having him? I would like to hear what he doesn't present to us that often, so I think it would be valuable to actually hear from him. So if there's a time, and then being that we talked a lot about the finance and all last night, so now after the fact, during that time of the discussion, I did see the value in having him speak.
Right.
But if we could get him back on.
Certainly, Madam Chair, I have not received the memorandum that they were going to send to me, and as soon as I get that information, I'll provide that to the board, and we'll set up another opportunity to brief the board on what's happening on the federal level. And then obviously with us looking to move as aggressively as proposed, there's going to be a lot of things that probably in the January timeframe where we might have to double up and do some additional meetings to continue to allow for the progress to move forward as quickly. But we will queue him up for our next meeting.
Okay, thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Be safe out there.
My comments, last week I met with the representatives from the Chamber of Commerce. They are interested in assisting us with development of small businesses through their Prosperity Champion program. I'm excited about this possibility of this collaboration, and I'll keep you posted. Any small business owners interested in connecting with the Chamber, please call my office at 561-845-3687.
Just a little bit more information. I'll read this. Thank you to my colleagues to my left for giving me the whole scoop on this. Free Thanksgiving hot meals sponsored by Youth Recreation Association, Mothers Against Murders, and Sincere 2000 Foundation. Please text for more information Artie Williams at 561-201-9358 or Angela Williams at 561-324-3701. Hot meals for anybody who's in need. Housing complex, homeless, senior facilities, churches, etc. Please order as many meals as you wish, no limit. What they do is they make the meals and pretty much distribute them all over the community. And my colleagues and I have been there in the past. It's a great way to spend Thanksgiving. Thanks.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving from the city of Riviera Beach. I think we have a record tonight. This meeting is adjourned.